Hi all, this is regarding assignment 2. I'm aware that all of you may have by now submitted the forum post, which includes about your chosen identified digital learning object, um, and the others need to respond and vice versa. So likewise, you will be collecting feedback. You will be getting feedback for your own digital learning object that you have um, discussed. After that, now it's time for you to submit a final post, as in number 6, where you choose 5 of the submitted tools. So you need to go through each and all of the others responses on that forum, and then select only 5 of them. So you're aware that we have 8 of them there. Out of them, you can select 5 um, tools that you think would best suit your own um, criteria. Then you need to include your final post in the same forum post. I would rather prefer you to um, have the subject as final post. And then it's easy for you when it comes to taking screenshots as well, when it comes to uh, submitting the final assignment. So in that, you will be writing, just discussing briefly about the chosen digital, the 5 of the, each of the digital tools, plus you can justify as to why sorry, as to why you say that uh, these are the reasons that you have chosen this out of the 8. That kind of brief explanation. I mean, there's no such word limit or number of references. If you consider that you have some good supporting evidence, yes, please go ahead and add them there in the forum post, because I'm sure that they will be helpful for the others. So that's all about uh, part A. And then these 2 things go into that forum post. Okay. And then we move on to the written part. That is where you include your critical, your reflection. That includes the 300 words. So since it's going to be a kind of reflection, so you don't want to add any references in this section. In that, basically, you will need to write about what you experienced when you were participating within this group, your activities, and what you felt and what you learned. All those things you can include um, in those 300 words. Okay, and then we move on to task 2. Now, all this time we were just talking about the digital tool itself that will support your own teaching. However, now we are going to see how we are going to evaluate that tool. Because being teachers, we know that there are so many tools out there online. But at the same time, we come to the question like, how are we going to know which digital tool is going to suit our context? For that, it's best to select a proper or create a proper evaluation tool that will give us a clearer idea as to what they are looking for. Right? So you need to create an evaluation tool to evaluate a digital resource. Okay, I'll repeat it. So this task is for you to design an evaluation tool to evaluate your own digital resource, your own, or if that evaluation tool is up to a certain standard so that even the others can use that evaluation tool. Okay, so when you are creating that evaluation tool, you need to remember that this is for teachers, and you know, most of you being teachers or have been teachers, you know the time constraints and all the um, uh, hardships of being a teacher. So just consider the practicality of using that evaluation tool. So suppose for an example, if that evaluation tool is highly complex and it takes a lot of time, so the possibility of using that is debated. Okay, so having that in mind, you can have your own expertise. You can use your own expertise, plus you can go through the readings just to see sorry, what research is out there, and then consider developing a digital tool, a rubric, either a rubric or a checklist. Either of them is okay, as long as they fulfill the given criteria. So for that, you need to go through, excuse me, the given criteria below, marking criteria. Okay, so you can have your own ideas, but at the same time, you can go through the marking criteria as well. So as I told you, you can either have a rubric, as per say the standard rubric, or even a checklist. However, you need to cover all these areas. Okay, and when you design a tool, so that designing or that description should be presented as a report. And these are the sections that you need to consider when including. There should be an introduction, right, that outlines the scope of the tool. So even though this is going to be about the evaluation, but in the first place, you need to come up with the scope of the tool. And then you need to discuss how to use the tool. And then instructions on how to interpret and apply the results. So for example, if you say, just say you take a checklist, and then if you have, let's say, 5 points, and if you just manage to tick 3 of them, are you able to use it or not? Or do you need to tick all the boxes, all 5 boxes? That kind of thing. But then again, when you say that, you need to justify that as well. Okay. And then you come to the tool itself. So with that, there is no word limit as stated, but it's suggested that you use around 500 words. But again, as I said earlier, so don't worry about the word limit as long as you come up with a proper description about the tool. Also with references, you're free to use whatever the resources that you've used. Don't worry about a limit in it. Okay, so again, you have a critical reflection. That is to write a critical reflection on the affordances and limitations of your tool. That is what you're going to write. At the very beginning, we were writing a critical review of your participation. So that is about the forum participation. Okay. I will anyway, sorry, I will anyway create another forum post for you all to have this one. Critical review of your participation. Oh no, I will anyway have ask, I would like to ask you to include part B even in your forum, in the final submission, because then you won't be embarrassed to write whatever you felt, right? So I will just wrap up I will first summarize this. So with the forum submissions, you have already posted your digital tool. And now what's left for you to do is you need to submit a final post where you choose 5 of the others digital tools that you consider are the best, not the best, like depending on your need. Okay. And once you have finished that forum post, that's all what you have to do with the forum. And then you move on to your written submission, which include part B at the very beginning. And then you write about part B, where you write about your participation. It's going to be a critical evaluation of your participation. And then you move on to task 2, where you write your report about designing an evaluation tool for digital resources for teachers. So remember the context, and as you go, make sure you refer to this marking criteria throughout. Okay, hope that helps. But if you have any questions, please feel free to um, contact me. Okay, good luck with it. Bye.